Imagine a map of the world. Now picture vast portions of it shaded red, representing the reach of a single power, the British Empire. At its peak, the British Empire was the largest empire in human history, encompassing nearly a quarter of the Earth's landmass and ruling over a diverse population spanning continents. From the Americas to Australia, Africa to Asia, the British flag flew high, a symbol of both power and complexity. The impact of this vast empire continues to resonate today, shaping the world we live in, for better or worse. Its influence can be seen in the political boundaries, legal systems, and even the cultural practices of many nations. The British Empire was not built in a day. It evolved over centuries, driven by exploration, trade, and a relentless pursuit of power and resources. The empire's expansion was fueled by the ambitions of explorers, merchants, and soldiers who ventured into unknown territories. This expansion brought with it profound changes to the demographics, cultures, and economies of the colonized regions. Indigenous populations were often displaced, and local traditions were altered or suppressed. Understanding the British Empire is crucial to understanding the interconnected world we live in today. The global trade networks established during the empire's reign laid the groundwork for modern globalization. Its legacy is a complex tapestry woven from threads of innovation and exploitation, progress and oppression. The empire's contributions to science, technology, and the arts are undeniable, yet so are the injustices and inequalities it perpetuated. From the English language spoken across the globe to the lingering effects of colonialism, the impact of the British Empire is undeniable. The legal and educational systems in many former colonies still reflect British influence. In the following sections, we will embark on a journey to explore the rise and fall of this global power, examining its key figures, significant events, and lasting legacies. We will delve into the stories of those who built the empire and those who resisted it, offering a comprehensive view of its complex history. The British Empire was not the creation of any single individual, but rather the result of the collective efforts of monarchs, politicians, explorers, and soldiers over many generations. Each played a crucial role in the expansion and consolidation of the empire, contributing their unique skills and vision to the grand project. At the helm of this vast empire stood the British monarch, a symbol of national unity and imperial authority. The monarch's presence was a constant reminder of the empire's power and reach, embodying the continuity and stability of British rule. Queen Victoria, whose reign spanned much of the 19th century, became synonymous with the empire at its zenith. Her long reign saw unprecedented growth and change, both within Britain and across its colonies. Victoria's reign saw Britain transformed into an industrial powerhouse, its reach extending across the globe. The Industrial Revolution brought about significant technological advancements, which in turn facilitated the empire's expansion and dominance. Her image adorned coins and stamps, her name given to cities and colonies, solidifying her status as the embodiment of British imperial might. This widespread use of her likeness helped to reinforce the idea of a unified empire under her rule. Yet, the empire's expansion was also orchestrated by powerful figures within the British government. These individuals worked tirelessly behind the scenes, crafting policies and strategies that would ensure the empire's growth and sustainability. Prime ministers like William Pitt the Younger and Benjamin Disraeli played pivotal roles in shaping Britain's foreign policy and expanding its colonial possessions. Their leadership and vision were instrumental in navigating the complex political landscape of the time. These leaders recognized the strategic and economic importance of controlling key trade routes, securing access to raw materials, and establishing British dominance on the world stage. Their efforts ensured that Britain remained a global power, with influence stretching far and wide. Their decisions, driven by a complex mix of ambition, national pride, and a belief in British superiority, had far-reaching consequences for the world. The impact of their actions can still be felt today, as the legacy of the British Empire continues to shape global politics and culture. From the halls of Westminster to the distant corners of the empire, the actions of these key figures left an indelible mark on the course of history. Their contributions, both celebrated and controversial, have become an integral part of the story of the British Empire. No other colony held greater significance for the British Empire than India, often referred to as the jewel in the crown. India's vast size, abundant resources, and strategic location made it a prize coveted by European powers from the 17th century onwards. The British East India Company, initially a trading venture, gradually gained control over large parts of India, exploiting internal divisions and establishing a powerful military presence. What began as a commercial enterprise evolved into a complex system of political and economic control. The East India Company's rule was marked by both advancements in infrastructure and education, and by exploitation and oppression of the Indian people. The Sepoy Mutiny of 1857, a violent uprising against British rule, exposed the brutality and injustices inherent in the colonial system. Following the mutiny, the British government took direct control of India, ushering in the era of the British Raj. This period saw further expansion of British influence in the region, with India serving as a vital hub for trade, administration, and military operations. The story of British involvement in India is a complex one, marked by both progress and exploitation, collaboration and resistance. Across the African continent, from trade to colonization. The African continent, with its diverse cultures, vast resources, and strategic importance, became another key target of British imperial ambitions. The rich tapestry of African societies, each with its own unique traditions and histories, presented both opportunities and challenges for European powers. Initial British involvement in Africa centered around the transatlantic slave trade, a dark chapter in human history that saw millions of Africans forcibly transported to the Americas. This brutal trade not only devastated African communities, but also laid the groundwork for future exploitation and colonization. As the abolitionist movement gained momentum in the 19th century, Britain outlawed the slave trade and turned its attention to other forms of economic and political control in Africa. The shift from human trafficking to resource extraction marked a new era of imperialism. The scramble for Africa, a period of intense European competition for control of the continent, saw Britain vying with other European powers for territory and influence. This race for dominance led to the Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885, where European nations formalized their claims, often with little regard for existing African political and cultural boundaries. Driven by a desire for raw materials, strategic advantage, and a belief in their own civilizing mission, British explorers, missionaries, and soldiers ventured into the interior of Africa, encountering diverse cultures and powerful empires. These encounters were often marked by both cooperation and conflict, as local leaders navigated the pressures of foreign intrusion. British colonization of Africa had a profound and often devastating impact on the continent. The imposition of British rule disrupted traditional governance structures and introduced new economic systems that prioritized European interests. The imposition of foreign rule, the redrawing of borders, and the exploitation of resources disrupted traditional ways of life and fueled tensions that resonate to this day. The arbitrary borders drawn by colonial powers often split ethnic groups and merged rival communities, sowing seeds of conflict that have persisted into the modern era. From the diamond mines of South Africa to the cocoa plantations of West Africa, the legacy of British colonialism in Africa is complex and multifaceted, marked by both progress and exploitation. While some infrastructure developments and educational initiatives were introduced, they were often designed to benefit the colonial economy rather than the local population. Caribbean riches, sugar, slavery, and the price of prosperity. The Caribbean islands, with their tropical climate and fertile land, played a pivotal role in the British Empire's economic growth, but this prosperity came at a terrible human cost. Sugar, a luxury-turned staple in Europe, fueled the demand for labor in the Caribbean, leading to the forced transportation of millions of Africans across the Atlantic. The transatlantic slave trade became a lucrative enterprise, enriching British merchants and plantation owners while subjecting generations of Africans to unimaginable cruelty and oppression. British colonies like Jamaica, Barbados, and Trinidad and Tobago became major producers of sugar, contributing significantly to Britain's wealth and power. The abolition of slavery in the British Empire in 1833 marked a turning point, but the legacy of this brutal system continued to cast a long shadow. The Caribbean islands, forever marked by the experience of slavery, faced new challenges as they transitioned from colonies to independent nations. The story of the British Caribbean is a stark reminder of the dark side of empire, where economic prosperity was built on the backs of enslaved Africans. Recognizing and understanding this history is crucial to comprehending the complexities of the Caribbean's present and future. The sun never sets? Challenges and changes within. The vastness of the British Empire, spanning every corner of the globe, gave rise to the saying, "The sun never sets on the British Empire." This statement, while reflecting the empire's global reach, masked the challenges and changes brewing within. Maintaining control over such a vast and diverse empire was a constant struggle. Uprisings, rebellions, and wars of resistance challenged British authority in various parts of the empire, highlighting the resentment towards foreign rule and the growing desire for self-determination. The Indian Rebellion of 1857, the Morant Bay Rebellion in Jamaica in 1865, and the Zulu Wars in South Africa were just a few examples of the resistance the British Empire faced. These uprisings forced the British to re-evaluate their strategies and adapt their policies, often resorting to a mix of brute force and concessions to maintain control. The empire also faced internal challenges. As Britain industrialized, its society underwent significant changes, with new social classes emerging and challenging the existing order. The rise of socialism, trade unionism, and calls for greater democracy at home influenced attitudes towards the empire, with some questioning the morality and cost of maintaining such a vast and expensive enterprise.